Nestled in the foothills of a vast rainforest, the village of Obudu thrived in harmony with nature. The villagers, adorned in their colorful Ankara fabrics, tended to their farms and gathered in the evenings for storytelling by the sacred baobab tree. But peace turned to terror when a shadow emerged, a ghostly presence that began haunting the village with chilling cries and malevolent acts. This is the story of how Obudu faced its darkest hour and reclaimed its peace through the power of spirituality and unity. One night, as the full moon cast a silver glow over the village, Namdi, a fisherman in his late 30s, returned from the river with his catch. As he approached the village, a chilling wail pierced the air. He froze. The sound seemed to come from the forest edge, where no living soul dared to wander after dark. He quickened his pace, but before he reached his hut, he felt a cold hand graze his shoulder. Whirling around, he saw nothing but the faint outline of a shadow retreating into the trees. The next morning, Namdi shared his experience with the elders. "It was her," whispered Elder Okon, the oldest man in the village. "The ghost of Abik, the woman who died unjustly years ago. Her spirit seeks vengeance." Over the next weeks, strange occurrences became routine. Chickens were found dead with no apparent cause, children woke screaming from nightmares of a woman with hollow eyes, and the crops began to wither. Mama Adeola, the village herbalist in her 50s, declared, "This is no ordinary haunting. We must seek the root of her anger." The villagers gathered at the shrine of Allah, the earth goddess, to consult the spirits. Mama Adeola led the prayers, her body painted with white chalk patterns. As the flames of the ritual fire danced, a voice echoed, "Justice must be restored." Elder Okon recounted the tragic tale. Years ago, Abike, a young woman known for her beauty and kindness, had been falsely accused of poisoning her husband. Out of fear and anger, the villagers banished her to the forest, where she died alone. "She was innocent," Okon confessed, his voice trembling. "I have lived with this guilt, and now she has returned to make us pay." The villagers realized they had to confront their collective sin and seek Abik's forgiveness. To appease Abik's spirit, the villagers prepared for a cleansing ritual. Mama Adeola instructed them to gather sacred herbs, calabashes of river water, and white chalk for purification. But Abik's spirit, now consumed by anger, began to actively terrorize the village. That night, the wails turned into a deafening cacophony. Roofs were torn off huts, and a shadowy figure appeared in the village square, screaming names. Mama Adeola cried out, "We must act now! She is growing too powerful!" Mama Adeola and a group of brave villagers ventured into the sacred grove, where the boundary between the living and the spirit world was thinnest. The forest was dense, with vines hanging like curtains, and the air thick with the scent of damp earth. They carried offerings, kola nuts, white cloth, and a clay pot of palm oil. "We must perform the rite of atonement here," Mama Adeola explained, "where her soul was last seen." The group was not alone. As they prepared the altar, the wails returned, louder and closer. As the villagers began the ritual, Abik's ghost appeared in full form, her face a mix of sorrow and rage. "Why now?" she cried. "Why did you not fight for me when I was alive?" Mama Adeola stepped forward. "We failed you, Abik, but we seek to make amends. Let us bring you peace." The villagers knelt, chanting prayers and confessing their guilt. The ghost seemed torn, her form flickering between anger and sadness. The villagers poured libations and sang songs of forgiveness. Mama Adeola sprinkled the sacred herbs and river water, creating a barrier of light. She invoked Allah and the ancestors to intercede. As the ritual reached its climax, the ghost let out a final, ear-splitting wail. Then she spoke, "I forgive you, but do not forget me. Honor those who suffer unjustly." Her form dissolved into a gentle light that bathed the forest, leaving the villagers in awe. The next day, the village of Obudu felt lighter, as though a heavy burden had been lifted. The crops began to thrive again, the livestock returned, and the eerie wails were replaced by birdsong. To honor Abik, the villagers built a shrine near the forest, vowing to protect the innocent and ensure no one would suffer as she had. The story of Abika became a lesson in justice, spirituality, and unity. And so, the curse of Obudu was broken, reminding all that even the angriest spirits can be calmed through truth, humility, and the power of spirituality.